Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of Deputy Governor Mrs. Rosalie Adams and His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Augustus Jaspert, and we ask that you remain standing until after the invocation. Thank you.
I read to you, first of all, three passages from the Old Testament as follows. Genesis chapter 12, verse 2, Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 12 and 13, and finally, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verses 8 to 10. And I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, that you may be a blessing. And now, what does the Lord require of you? But to fear the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments and the statutes of the Lord. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land, a land of brooks and waters, of fountains and springs flowing forth in valleys and hills. And you shall eat and be full, and you shall bless the Lord your God for the good land he has given you. Let us pray. Eternal God and Father of all humankind, we offer you our most humble yet hearty thanks for the good land in which you have placed us, and for the blessings which you have bestowed upon us. For the bounty of the oceans and the fertility of the soil, for our industry and commerce, our homes, our schools, and our houses of worship, for quiet villages and busy towns, for distinguished men and women of the past who labored to build our country and have left us a goodly heritage, and for those who still serve us today. We thank you, Lord, for your great goodness to us in times past, and in particular, we thank you for your preserving us alive during the recent flood rains. And as you have urged in Scripture that supplication, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for all men, for kings, for governors, and all those in high positions, so that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life, godly and respectful in every way. We pray for Her Majesty.
This makes a sorry. Wow.
Your Excellency, the Governor, Mr. Augustus Jaspert, Mrs. Millie Jaspert, Tobias, and Oscar. Premier and General Honorable Joanne Williams Roberts, His Lordship, the Honorable Mr. Justice Barry Leon, Financial Secretary, Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Andrew Foy, Financial Secretary, Cabinet Secretary, Permanent Secretaries, Madam Registrar of the Supreme Court, heads of department and other senior public officers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen in the hall and by radio and YouTube, good morning. Good morning. We are gathered here for a very short but highly significant ceremony, the swearing in of our new governor. Governor Augustus Jaspert has taken office as Her Majesty's 13th Governor of the Virgin Islands as of 21st August 2017, yesterday. He comes with a wealth of experiences that span the various government agencies. These can be seen in his biography, the full text of which is found in today's program. It will also be posted on the government's website and on YouTube and Facebook. Suffice it to say, however, he has experiences in most aspects of government, such as policing and justice. In this regard, I hasten to add that Governor Jaspert has served as a magistrate in the London jurisdiction. Other significant areas of his expertise are those of immigration, security, emergency planning and response, as well as supporting vulnerable children and those who need extra support due to learning or physical disabilities. He is joined in the Virgin Islands by his wife, Millie, and their two sons, Oscar and Tobias, ages 9 and 5. Cognizant of the younger members of the Jaspert family and the need to have our youths exposed to appreciate the work of government at various levels. For the first time in our history, children and young people have been invited to the swearing-in ceremony. Let it be clear, Governor, that you and your entire family are welcomed in our community and well supported also. Welcome then to the British Virgin Islands, and we wish you every success in your undertakings. May God bless you and your family, and may God bless these beautiful Virgin Islands. We are now going to go into the act of the swearing in, and we're going to go straight through. One person I neglected to welcome this morning is the Reverend Franklin Manners and Mrs. Manners, Reverend Manners being the superintendent of the Methodist Church. Welcome. So we'll follow your program as set forth in the order. I'm going to invite Governor to stand as I read the Royal Commission of Appointment. Governor? This was handed to me as I came in from the Governor's office from Her Majesty the Queen. So take note. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and her other realms and territories, Queen, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith. To our truly and well-beloved Augustus, James, Ulysses, Jaspert, greetings. We do, by this our commission, under our signed manual and signet, appoint you, the said Augustus, James, Ulysses, Jaspert, to be our governor in and over our territory of the British Virgin Islands during our pleasure, with all the powers, rights, privileges, and pleasures to the said office belonging or appertaining. And we do direct that your appointment shall take effect from the time of your disembarkation in our said territory. And we do hereby command all and singular our officers and loving subjects in our said territory, and all others whom it may concern, to take due notice hereof, and to give their ready obedience accordingly. And we do hereby direct that this our commission shall determine upon signification to that effect, being given by us through one of our principal secretaries of state, given at our court of St. James's this 21st day of August 2017, in the 66th year of our reign, by Her Majesty's command. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Royal Commission of Appointment for Governor Jaspert. Thank you. And now I invite Governor to take his seat.
James Ulysses Jaspert, you swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors.
By tradition, the Premier will now witness the signature of His Excellency. I also would like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable O'Neill, representative for the 9th District, so we are glad to have you, and the presence of Mrs. Magdalene Reimer, the chairman of our Public Service Commission. We are glad to have you. We now move to the next segment of the program, in which I invite the Premier, Honorable Smith, to come and give an address. Premier.
Your Excellency, the Governor Augustus, Jaspert, Mr. Jaspert, Oscar, and Tobias. Honorable Speaker and members of the House of Assembly, Deputy Governor, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, it is my distinct privilege to officially welcome you and your family to the British Virgin Islands. It is indeed good to see you again after our initial meeting in London just last month. When we met, we expressed our mutual desires in ensuring the number of people, including security, Governance and transparency are advanced, developed and managed in the best interest of the territory and the people of the Virgin Islands. I very much welcome your and the UK's support in that regard. If I recall correctly, this is your first visit to the territory. I hope the transition has gone relatively well thus far. I'm sure that you appreciate that the BVI is not in peak condition, given the impact of recent heavy rains and flash flood. But despite any remaining debris or mud, the natural beauty of these islands cannot be denied. I can assure you there will be many sunny days ahead to enjoy in more comfortable conditions. The arrival comes in the early months of the hurricane season. This is a particularly active year and we'll likely see more storms and rains ahead. I hope neither will be as severe as the tropical wave of August 7th, but we must be prepared. I'm aware that you toured Ireland yesterday, with the Deputy Governor as well as the Permanent Secretaries from my ministry, the Ministry of Communication and the Deputy Governor's Office. I trust that amidst what you saw, you were able to see the resilience of this territory and the effectiveness of our efforts. So as you figuratively and literally got your feet wet, I look forward to working with you in our respective capacities to keep the territory in a high state of preparedness for the remainder of the hurricane season. The BVI has demonstrated great resilience over the last 2 weeks. The recovery effort has progressed successfully with the combined efforts of our government agencies, the participation of our citizens in the cleanup of their communities, and humanitarian work of the churches and non-profit organizations in the relief effort. Your Excellency, I also wish to thank Her Majesty's government for the efforts of the support, and I look forward to discussing with you how the United Kingdom can best assist the territory moving forward. We are in the process of completing a damage assessment to ascertain the full extent of the damage caused by the wave, the value of the losses, and the extent of support that will be needed over the near and long term to fully rehabilitate the territory. I also thank God that there was no loss of life, and I thank everyone who stepped up to assist in the cleanup and relief efforts. The government and private sector will have to move quickly to put the economy back on track, as there is no doubt that the damage caused by flooding and mudslide has caused disruption to business. Affected businesses will take time to recover, but we work together as a people to ensure that we revert quickly to a state of normalcy and prosperity. Road rehabilitation and other infrastructural repairs will be essential to enable people, goods and services to move efficiently across the territory. This will come at a significant cost, but it is necessary to restore commerce and facilitate our daily business activities. And I'm confident that you will make a valuable contribution to the territory's growth and development. I encourage you to explore our beautiful islands and become intimately acquainted with the people of these islands in whose interest we must work. On behalf of the elected government, the members of the House of Assembly and the people of the British Virgin Islands, I welcome you and look forward to working with you to support this territory's recovery and its continued prosperity for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Premier. I know this is not a program, it's more formal, but I have to say, I admire the courage of the Premier and the Governor in touring all the devastation that took place in the recent emergency that we had. I couldn't imagine the Governor would be able to go up all those hills just coming from the flatlands of London, but he did. He did an excellent job, and the people who saw him along the way were very pleased. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Premier, for your leadership in restoring this territory. It is now my pleasure to invite the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Andrew Foy, to give an address. Honorable Foy.
office of governor. Further, I congratulate you as the 18th appointment by Her Majesty the Queen to serve as either administrator or governor to this, the 18th legislature of the Virgin Islands. Having recently served in the Cabinet Office as Director of Security and Intelligence at the National Security Secretariat, no doubt you have been thoroughly briefed. The start of your tenure is at a pivotal time, not only for the Virgin Islands, but indeed also for the United Kingdom as they maneuver the landmark decision of Brexit. Here in the Virgin Islands, 2017 marks 67 years since the restoration of the Constitution in 1950. 50 years since the implementation of the ministerial system in 1967. 40 years since the duties of finance was removed as a special duty of the governor and granted to the local government in 1977. And 10 years since the last comprehensive review of our Constitution in 2007. In your research, you would have also confirmed that I have been a member of the legislature of the Virgin Islands for 18 years, chairman of the Virgin Islands Party for 9 months, and leader of the opposition for a short 6 months. Your duties and responsibilities of the leader of the opposition are enshrined in the Constitution. As governor, you have your job, and as leader of the opposition, I have mine. The office of the leader of the opposition is guided by the Virgin Islands Constitution Order 2007, the Standing Orders, the Public Finance Management Act and Regulations, the Protocols for Effective Financial Management. Consistently over the past governance, Virgin Islands stay or the Virgin Islands exit is a matter for the people of the Virgin Islands. I will offer no unwarranted battles, and surely no squabbles concerning venues for signing ceremonies. There are far more pressing issues and matters of urgency that are critical to the well-being of the people of the Virgin Islands and to their political development and to their political advancement. On most issues, we will agree, but there are some that require intense discussions. However, I can assure you that this will be done in a forthright and respectful manner. Governor, once again, I say welcome to the Virgin Islands, and I wish for you and the people of
Thank you, Honorable Leader of the Opposition. As is usual, we tend to forget certain things. And while I stand, I want to give a high note of praise and thanks to the Honorable Mark Vanterpool, who also continues to lead in the recovery of the infrastructure of this territory. So we are very grateful. And it's bad enough that I forgot to say that, but I forgot to acknowledge my own husband sitting there in the audience. We welcome you even though we are almost at the end. At this time, I'm going to ask His Excellency Governor Jaspert to... Governor Jaspert.
Honourable Premier, Your Ladyship, Honourable Madam Justice Ellis, Honourable Deputy Premier, Honourable Ministers, Madam Deputy Governor, Honourable Leader of the Loyal Opposition, and other Honourable Members of the House of Assembly, members of the clergy, distinguished guests, and my own family, good morning. Firstly, thank you, Honourable Premier and Honourable Leader of the Loyal Opposition, for your warm words of welcome. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank in particular Madam Deputy Governor and Dr. Robert Matavius for assuming the role of Acting Governor over the past 2 weeks. at what has been a particularly difficult time for the Virgin Islands. It is truly an honour and privilege to be appointed by Her Majesty as her representative and to be sworn in as Governor of the Virgin Islands. My driving goal from this day on is to serve the best interests of all of the people of these magnificent islands. I'm grateful already for the warm wishes of support to myself, my wife Millie, and my 2 boys as we arrive, and we look forward to getting to know all of the communities across the Virgin Islands, islands that our family now call home. As the Premier said, yesterday after I arrived, I took a tour of Tortola to get a sense of the damage caused by the tropical wave, which impacted so badly on the territory 2 weeks ago. It is clear that the damage caused has been extensive to individuals, properties, business, and the infrastructure. My heart and prayers go out to all those affected. It is a credit to everybody involved how quickly the islands are recovering. The fact that under the Premier's guidance, electricity and water were restored to so many so quickly is a remarkable testimony to the resilience of the residents of the Virgin Islands. I have heard and seen how hard and tirelessly the emergency services, community organisations, private companies and individuals, and of course government agencies, have worked and continue to work to steal the words of the Premier to return this part of paradise to its normal state. Despite the impacts of the storm, as I flew in yesterday, it was easy to see how blessed the Virgin Islands are. The natural beauty of these islands is world-beating, and from what I have heard, and from those I have met already, I know these islands have a people as fantastic as the nature that surrounds them. The Virgin Islands have so much to be proud of in their history. These are small islands, but they have a global impact. The hard work, entrepreneurial spirit, and welcoming nature of the Virgin Islanders shines through. There have, though, been other challenging times recently, of rapid change globally and an international spotlight on the Virgin Islands as an international financial centre. These islands have demonstrated the importance of taking pride in effective regulation and the importance of the underpinnings of good governance. You have built a strong foundation for the future, for prosperous and thriving communities, and I aim to work together towards an even brighter future. That future needs to be shaped by the desires of those who live here and who know their own aspirations. My role is not to direct these, but to engage with all parts of the community, to listen, to hear the hopes, aspirations, dreams, and also the challenges and problems, and to work together to find ways to tackle these. I see the role of Governor as one of service and partnership, a service dedicated to bettering the lives of all who live in these islands, and to creating a secure and prosperous future for the young and future generations. A partnership that works with the elected government, the public services, community and faith organisations, businesses, and most importantly, the people who live here. The role of the United Kingdom is also a partnership, a modern partnership that helps and supports the Virgin Islands, a partnership based on respect and that helps ensure the underpinnings of success, good governance, security and prosperity. I have worked in different areas of public service all my life. Throughout all of it, I am driven by making a difference to improve people's lives. Whether that was working in children's services to support the most vulnerable families in society, working to tackle crime, the harms of illegal drugs, and to ensure people feel secure in their communities, or working with the British Prime Minister at a national level, helping to create the conditions for vibrant business and strong, united communities that can overcome challenges they face. I have learnt that prosperity, united communities, and safe neighbourhoods are like a three-legged stool. They are not binary choices, but are all critical parts of a flourishing society. Here, good regulation, and the right level of transparency underpin a world-respected financial sector that drives prosperity. Care for the natural environment, the right infrastructure, and a reputation as a safe destination underpin thriving tourism. Good public services and communities that all share a stake in the future of the islands ensure people live free of the fear of crime, and the vulnerable and the young are supported. And communities that value and respect each other and celebrate diversity as a strength create stronger neighbourhoods. And the seat of the three-legged stool, holding together all of the above, is good governance, with transparent government, leadership and public services, in which people have confidence we are always acting in their best interests. My commitment is to serve and to work in partnership to make the Virgin Islands an even better place, an even more prosperous, safe and well-governed place, a place that is valued for the important part it plays internationally, and a place that creates even greater potential for its future, in particular through its young people as the future generation. I will serve with integrity, fairness and impartiality. I want to be approachable and part of the community, and will listen to all views, and want to support the institutions of these islands to own and tackle any challenges. I will be engaged, but I will not shy away from acting where the values of fairness, security and good governance are not at the highest standards. As a people of such talent and strength, these islands should rightly expect the highest standards. It is though with humility that I approach my task ahead. I'm conscious that my priority is to learn and to listen. I intend to visit as many of the islands and connect with as many people as possible, to hear your perspectives and views. I hope that you will find that my ears as Governor are always open. Honourable guests, let me conclude by reiterating that my goal here is to serve Her Majesty for the people of the Virgin Islands, to serve in your best interests, to ensure excellent governance, security and prosperity for now and for the future, and to serve in a real partnership with the elected government, the public services, the United Kingdom, the faith, voluntary and community organisations that do so much good, and most importantly, with the people of these islands. Has so much to be proud of, and I take extreme pride in now being part of these islands. I believe that we who occupy positions under the Constitution, whether elected or non-elected, whether we are here for a season or a lifetime, serve as guardians of the best interests of those whom we serve. I hope that you will come to view me as a true friend of the Virgin Islands. Thank you for your attention, and may God bless the Virgin Islands and all who live here. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. I didn't say that the Governor's address will also be posted in similar fashion so that you can read it and digest it. We thank you for your kind words, and we look forward to the partnership that you have promised. That said, ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, it brings us to the close of today's program, and I now present to you once again Governor Augustus Jaspert as our new governor of the territory of the Virgin Islands. Will you please stand now as the governor leads?